most.
Don't wait. Visit ondeck.com.au now and experience lightning fast funding for your business. On Deck, your trusted small business loan specialists. T's and C's apply. All loans are subject to lender approval.
The Kia Sorento set the bar as Kia's most popular small sedan. Now, the new first ever Kia K4 raises it. Best in class, second row legroom, ultra wide screens, and a GT line that comes turbocharged. Enter Kia's biggest small sedan, the Kia K4. Small sedan, big personality. Test drive today or find out more at kia.com.au.
Kia, movement that inspires.
Your chance to find our future stars at Melbourne's Nutrien Standard Bred Yearling Sale. Be at Inglis Oaklands Junction Sales Complex on Sunday, April 13. Or watch the auction live and bid online. Over 150 lots by sought-after sires, including Captain Treacherous, Bettor's Delight, and Always Be Mickey. This sale has produced some high-class youngsters, including Bay of Biscay and the Locomotive. Register now and view the catalogue at nutrienstandardbred.com.au.
Now, we'll get the grey areas underway in just a moment with Jason and George. We're at that Boxers at Healesville. Here's Victoria.
This box and a recent solid run in second place from box 7 in 17 and 15. So No Manners, well supported here. Box 4, $2.50. So we're just awaiting the amber light to come on as our greyhounds are in position behind the box to commence our loading process. Thanks to our sponsor, Jason McEwen Photography. And a very good afternoon to all of our radio and Sky Racing audience as we await the fourth race here to commence at Healesville. We're just awaiting our loading process to start. There's the amber lights. We're moving in. No Manners here, the favourite, $2.50 ahead of Crackerjack Maxi Box 7, $4.20, $3.60 for Assume Keeley. $5 now for Berry Blue Evie. Getting set here at Healesville, they're moving in. Crackerjack Maxi is well supported with the black rug. No Manners, the favourite to run from box 4 now, $2.50. Good support also, Assume Keeley. As we get set for a start, the green light is switched on. We're ready to run. And they're often chasing, and No Manners away to a fair start. Sonic Shockwave there, Assume Keeley now jamming up towards the inside with Berry Blue Evie taking up the front-running position. Crackerjack Maxi and Why Not Emily over on the outside. At this point, No Manners is relegated to last. Tearing away, it's Assume Keeley on the rail. Goes for home, and Assume Keeley out in front leads here by about a length and a half on the line. Berry Blue Evie into second position. Now flying on the inside rail was No Manners, who's grabbed third, but a little bit late ahead there of Why Not AJ. Crackerjack Maxi across the track from Why Not Emily and Sonic Shockwave last to greet the judge. 17 and 20 the run. Assume Keeley taking out the fourth event and getting the upper hand, charging to victory. Nice run to Berry Blue Evie in second, and No Manners, who was winding up late, got himself into a bit of an ordinary position. Stepped okay at box race, perhaps not the quickest, but ducking towards the inside there and driving the rail late into about third place, but we'll await that officially from the judge. 17 and 19 the time for the numbers. 6 from 3 as we officially await third and fourth place. In third place officially now number 4, 6, 3 and 4. And just awaiting fourth place number 2. 6, 3, 4 and 2, 17 and 19 the run home in 10.50. 10.50 the run home. Now the margins, a length and a half by just awaiting the second margin. A length and a half by 3/4, a length and a half by 3/4. Assume Keeley. Last race on the 21st of March from box 8 here at the track.
Thank you, Victoria. They're just coming through now. We're about to get the grey areas underway with Jason and George at Healesville. Number 6, Assume Keeley is the third 6 to win today. At $4.10 and $1.30. Beats number 3, Berry Blue Evie at $1.10. 4, No Manners, $1.40. And 2, Why Not AJ. The Quinella, $12. Exacta, $22. Trifecta, $48. And the first 4, 6, 3, 4 and 2 has paid $320. Early quaddie, double 6, 4 and 6, $294. And the running double 4 and 6 is a small jackpot of $26.
On RSN Racing and Sport, it's time for the grey areas with Jason Adams and George Ferrugia.
The kid was a human dynamo.
Are you sure you're talking about George?
George of the jungle, friend to you and me.
Now, we would normally have Jason start the show, but George Ferrugia's first up today.
I am. Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. And before we talk any further, we've got a little song we want to play here. John?
Okay.
Okay.
Is that for you, Johnny?
Obviously, Johnny is a mad Collingwood supporter, so congratulations on last night's victory.
But that is not for me.
No, it is not for you.
Here we
Now,
go.
I want to get the elephant
Here we
out of
go.
the room very, very quickly here. Now, for those that listen to this show, we do know that Jason Adams is a staunch Sydney Swans fan.
Swanee.
Harboured by his fantastic dad, Steve, who barracks for the Swans, and he brought him up as a Swans fan. And I got some alarming news a couple of days ago, John, that there is a new Collingwood member, and his name is Jason Adams. He is a paid member of the Collingwood Football Club. Now,
right?
I haven't put a call into Steve to see how he is, but Jason, can you please explain yourself?
Play it, Johnny. Play it, Johnny. Keep it rolling. No, this is something that was done recently, George, by the lovely. She's mad Collingwood.
Yes.
Happy Collingwood supporter. And since in all likelihood I'm likely to be going to more Collingwood games, it made sense to pull the trigger.
so
So it
it's
doesn't
Jess.
mean there's
the
doesn't
lovely
mean there's
Jess.
any allegiance changes or my heart's going in a different direction.
You do know one of the cardinal sins when it comes to barracking in the AFL is that you cannot have two teams, Jason. So I'm a little bit concerned
No.
here. Now,
Hang on. Can you be a member and not actually support the club?
wow.
It's a bit of an oxymoron.
Well, it's I'm a little bit
Am
concerned.
I not doing the right thing, George? Are you saying I shouldn't do this for the lovely? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, I think Jess has sort of
Jess has
squirrel
just-
gripped you here.
She's gone up in my
The
estimation.
squirrel grip.
Yeah, I think what needs to. I'm more concerned about your dad, Steve. He's a lovely
He's
man.
aware of it.
I've met him a few times, and he couldn't be any nicer to me. He's aware of it. How's he taken this news?
I was surprised at the time, but I think there was a sense of understanding.
Look, we'll move on,
It's
John.
not quite
But look,
clear that nothing's changing, please.
for the rest of the show, or the rest of the time that you two are doing this with me, I'm surrounded by two Collingwood fans. This is the way I'm looking at it now. So,
Hey, winners are grinners, Georgie.
yeah, well,
winners are grinners, my
absolutely.
friend.
And we've got to hand it to John. He was very confident last night. And John, I was thinking about you last night. You control that game. After half time, it was pretty much all over. Did you have the feet up, mate? Just a quiet scotch and on the rocks? What was
I don't
happening?
drink spirits. No, I had a beer.
Yeah, good boy.
What beer?
But,
What's in the fridge at the Henry residence?
A beer and a wine, but no spirits.
No, what sort of beer? What's your choice of beverage?
I drink VB.
Yeah. You're like my
But
man.
when the rain came, it slowed the game down
Yeah.
a bit. But I felt, I'm not going to name the individuals, but I felt sorry for a couple of individuals in the Carlton team, 3 in fact, that I thought tried their heart out all night. And you just feel sorry for, I'm not bagging Carlton at all, I'm just saying you do feel sorry for guys that are playing their heart out in a team that just doesn't seem to be gelling.
I think those same
And
three
you
players.
feel for them.
a bit like Matty Richardson through that whole
You feel for the
era
individual.
at the Tigs.
I think those same three players that you're alluding to have been like that for the whole season. They've put their heart and soul out. But look, we want to be honest with our grey areas listeners, so I just wanted to get that off the table, Jason. So your choices are
We're a
your
transparent
choices.
show, aren't we?
I'm not going
Transparent
to
show.
judge. Well, I am, but Jess, you've done well, Jess. I tell you, you've got him watching maths, and now he's a Collingwood member. This is incredible.
She's a strong woman.
Shall we straighten up? Where do you
Yes.
want to start?
and she'll
Jason?
be coming with me to watch the Swannies tomorrow night too, so we'll square up. First of all, Dan Houston get weeks, George?
Well, he has to,
Has
doesn't
to.
he? Yeah, for the way it's been interpreted.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a Port Adelaide friend text me straight after saying, "Did you see that? Anything Dan Houston related, he's on top of it."
Would have been happy. All right, let's get into the real stuff. You want to get involved in the show? Encouraged, as always, text in 0416 90 50 52. And straight away, George, we need to wrap up. What was an amazing night of racing at Sandown last night. I mean, historically, with the launching pad, we've seen a lot of gun greyhounds go through the series with limited experience or exposure, and you really see that in the heats as well. And I don't think last night was an exception.
Yeah, look, there was some surprise results, and there were some greyhounds that really stood up and did an amazing job. I want to shout out to the Prosciutto family. I think the patience they showed with Bebop Jazz. We spoke about this greyhound 6 or 7 weeks ago, where it had reached its limit of 6 wins, Jace, I believe. So couldn't have another win and then be qualified for the launching pad. So they were a little bit like Mel Gibson in Braveheart. Hold, just keep holding. And their patience has been rewarded because her run last night against Tribeca and a few other handy greyhounds was fantastic. 29.34, good early speed. She was one that I wanted to highlight, but probably not the run of the night. I think there was a couple of others that were even better.
Yeah,
what are your thoughts?
There's some rippers. All right, I'll tell you what, let's just carve through every race last night because there was something to talk about throughout all of them. Now, the first race, obviously not part of the Launching Pad series, Zipping Kai led. You thought she'd win easily, and she faded and just packed up, which didn't look like her, of course, in the race won by Paul Coulter. Yeah,
look, again, I'm by looking to the naked eye, it just didn't look like she was stretching out too well in that home straight. That's not a run. And I'm not making excuses because we tipped her and we put our hand up when we don't tip winners, so that's fair enough. But she should be winning that race, Jace, from where she was. So hopefully she's okay. I don't want to take anything away from Paul Coulter, who was a good run and the time was solid as well on the first of the night, but disappointing Zipping Kai.
Race 2, Kenya All Class was the dominant favourite, and of course this is just a stepping stone towards the Sandgroper for him. He found all sorts of froth and bubble, and looking at the race in hindsight, Honey Zen, the winner, was probably the logical option when tipping, but we just got sucked into the ability of Kenya All Class.
Yeah, we got sucked in by that and the fact that he'd been racing against better quality greyhounds, let's be honest, but that'll be the last time I tip him over 500 metres. And nothing against the dog because he got absolutely skittled on that first corner, but it's just that first 100 metres is his Achilles heel. He's going to be much more suited to 600 and 700 metres going forward, there's no doubt. Now, I know he's in the Sandgroper, but if he begins like that, Jason, gets tangled in that first corner, he's not going to be beating.
And the pressure's going to be hot.
Yeah, so that's the concern there. But again, nothing against the dog. He chases his ring off, this dog. Absolutely. A lot of dogs, some dogs would just put up the white flag on that first corner. He got a fair hip and shoulder. He still ran into third, but he's just going to be a liability over 500 going forward.
Race 3, Heat 1 of the Launching Pad. Kiwi Harry, he got up at a big price. There was probably no doubting his ability. It was more the passage he was going to get in running. Zap Devere started one of the main favourites along with Sweet B, your boy Valenzuela. But Kiwi Harry too good in the end.
Yeah, he was. I sat behind a lead intention and I thought we were a chance to run him down. But Kiwi Harry just said, sorry guys, I'm going to take over. And that was a good run. You're right though. He's going to rely on luck again, sort of Kenya All Class-ish like on that first corner, Kiwi Harry. But it was a terrific victory.
Heat 2, you've mentioned Bebop Jazz, and it's sort of a blessing in disguise because I don't think straight after that win at Sandown, the Launching Pad was really on the radar because they nominated for a Rookie Rebel Prelude and couldn't get a start. So it sort of probably got to a point in time where they thought, well, we've only got one option now, and that is a Launching Pad.
Did they go to a Horsham Cup heat?
Yes, and got beaten. So
see, that's smart though, because if you win your heat, you're in a final worth $50,000. So I get that. But then I think they said, you know what? We're going to go for the Launching Pad here. She's just got a really nice mix, Jason, of good early speed, and she's hard to catch when she's on the bunny. So she's an absolute live chance for the final.
Tribeca was the big gun in that one, and I just feel like his focus on getting down towards the inside, as much as he's got away with it to this point of his career because he's been up against maidens and whatnot who just aren't at the peak of their powers naturally at that stage of their career. I mean, if he's got speed underneath him, he's going to hit him, and that's what happened last night.
Yeah, look, it's a forgive run because of his immaturity. He went 5.27 early, Jason, so again, he's a much better greyhound than that. He's going to have to learn his craft. It's simple as that. But you're right, this is why the Launching Pad's such a unique series, because even though they're up against greyhounds with similar amount of wins, they're not always up against greyhound with a similar amount of experience. So, and as we've seen, I mean, the winner, Bebop Jazz, she's been there and done that.
Yeah, very different situation.
Yeah,
isn't it?
so look, take nothing away from Tribeca. He got through, so I think that's all the Ennis family will be happy with going forward.
Heat 3, this is one I got wrong. Shimmer Stan went straight to the front. Now, I thought his inclination to want to get down to the rail didn't exactly spell out a clean race for him from box 8, but dead set faultless. He was superb.
Yeah, 5.11 early, which can get you into trouble from box 8 if you've got some speed drawn on the inside, but it turned out it was a race that it didn't matter. 5.11, good speed down the back, 18.77, good little win. Another step up in class for him next week.
Wyong Dallas won Heat 4, and he's one of those greyhounds that's got a bit of experience under his belt now, and he's just tackling every task in a really positive way.
We spoke about this greyhound, Jason, if you recall, about 6 or 7 weeks ago when he burst onto the scene at the Meadows. He ran fast at Ballarat. He ran good time at the Meadows, and I like the way he raced, similar to what his dad was, and he looks like his dad too, Fernando Bale, obviously. But couple of starts ago, ran 29.73 at the Meadows. Almost the dark horse here of this series. And after last night, he's probably the dark horse no more. 29.28, Jace, but more importantly, the speed from Dungala Jesse, 18.65, where Wyong Dallas was right there on its hammer. So two very impressive greyhounds, but Wyong Dallas certainly going forward in a hurry. Probably in the top 3 young talents for Team Daly, which is saying something.
Gambella won Heat 5, and I thought this was possibly the best run of the night. I mean, Aston Rayner got cleared. We expected him to show speed. Probably didn't run up to the overall time, of which he did 2 starts ago. However, Gambella, from where she was in the field to still run down a dog like him in that overall time, absolutely outstanding performance.
Yeah, look, and again, we put our hand up. We got it wrong because we tipped Aston. Well, I tipped Aston Rayner.
Well, so did I last night.
Yeah, because of the box, and I just thought, and the race panned out exactly how we thought. We got that bit right. But Gambella, 3 cheers for her. That was a terrific victory. She went 29.04 her last start, but I would suggest that was probably even a better run. She went 29.31, but the way she had to navigate her way through, that was a terrific victory. That wasn't an easy heat, and she handled herself very, very well. No wonder she was pre-post favourite for the series.
We finished Racing Pulse just before with Michael Falgate talking about Irish Bill, of course, a greyhound part owned by John Sharkey, who is the father of the Shark in Mick Sharkey, and he was very good. And after this race, George, I sort of felt, how good is the launching pad? I mean, for a greyhound like him that's just gone through a maiden series at Horsham, gets to the big stage in a launching pad heat, runs 29.3, surprises at some sort of odds. I mean, it was just an explanation of how good this series is.
Yeah, look, I think the odds were what they were, Jace, because of a couple of the other greyhounds in the race. Zipping Sweeney came from Queensland with very big raps, and he exhibition trialled really well. He was in the market, so was Come to Party. Logistical was in the race, but Irish Bill, look, his runs at Horsham were very, very good. So I don't think the time surprises, but his rise has been very, very impressive. So that was a very good win.
On the way to the boxes for Hillsville at race 5. Heat 7 was won by Dashing Slay, and this was always going to be... We're going to learn a lot about this greyhound, George, because she was so good at Angle Park, one of the very few to break 30 seconds over there. It doesn't matter what you're doing to state. It's always difficult to transfer it on the big stage down here in Melbourne. She did that from a suitable draw in box 8 because that is where she wants to be.
Yeah, but still you've got to get around that first corner and do what you need to do, and I thought she was very, very good. She's that girl, probably just a plain run. I mean, she trialled 29.25. Her heroics from winning a group race at Wentworth Park was fantastic the week before. I don't think Peter Legagioni will be too disappointed. She makes it through to next week.
Doesn't feel like there's a lot to read into, does it?
Nah, she'll be fine. She'll be better for the run, but take nothing away from the winner.
And the 8th heat, which was... Geez, when they turned for home, he didn't have a clue who was going to win the race. And in the end, one of the better named greyhounds in Australia, Chicken Fish, came from the clouds and ran down Milton Cranberry and Zebrariah.
Yeah, always had ability, Chicken Fish. But again, $22 winner. I think Milton Cranberry was the one everyone expected to go well, but Chicken Fish was just too good for Paula Bella. So it sets up a couple of the big guns got through, Jace, even finishing 4th. So they're still in with a live chance. But Gambella, Irish Bill and Wyong Dallas are the 3 that stood out to me.
Of course, the top 4 from each of those heats progress to semi-finals next Thursday night. We'll touch on what they look like after this race at Hillsville. Let's get to Victoria Shore for the first leg of the quaddie.
For the 5th. Thank you, and big thanks to the Greyhound Adoption Program, of course, our sponsors, and April is the Greyhound Adoption Month, so a terrific way to gain a new wonderful pet as well. So we're getting set here at Hillsville. And the favourite here is Ringer Houdini from box number 7. They're moving in. Ringer Houdini with the outside draw. Should get a nice clear passage there over on the outside with the empty box 8. And Miss Dacos, the reserve, running from box number 3. So as we get set for a start, loading away here at Hillsville as the amber light flashes away. Ringer Houdini now $1.40. Next closest to the market is $6 for number 6 Barclay Street, drawn alongside. The green light is switched on. We're set for a start. The 5th event, about to let them go, and they're off and chasing. And Ringer Houdini away to a nice clear passage. Getting the outside now is Clara Stella, who ducked behind the field and going forward out in front. But at this point looks to be Braemar Molly. Now alongside of Ringer Houdini, back nearer the inside, it's Chili Pepper from Barclay Street, just off them there. Winding up also there is Miss Dacos, and Clara Stella is the widest runner. Charging the line, it's Braemar Molly from Ringer Houdini. Heads up up, heads down, possibly Ringer Houdini from Braemar Molly in a photo now driving the rail. There was Barclay Street and Our Mate Bear look to be locked together. Perhaps Our Mate Bear are over on the outside with a late run from Barclay Street. Miss Dacos just off them. Chili Pepper and Clara Stella last to greet the judge. And the run, 19 and 94. Very tight photo. Oh, wow. Heads up, heads down. All right. Braemar Molly and Ringer Houdini locked together. Now, let's see where the judge heads with this. We do have a tendency to work our judges very hard here at Healesville. And I think this will be certainly one of those occasions. Time amended to 19 and 93. And number 7, Ringer Houdini, has got the money. Number 7 from 2. Gee, there wasn't much in it. Ringer Houdini over number 2, Braemar Molly. In third place, number 6, Barclay Street. 7, 2 and 6, 19 and 93 the time. 7, 2 and 6 numbers in the frame, and fourth in number 4. So 7, 2, 6 and 4 and race number 5 here at Healesville. And the margin is a nose separating first from second, just a nose. So a nose by a half length. 7, 2, 6 and 4, 19 and 93 the time. They're under the first mark in 6:65.
So 7, 2, 6 and 4. Vic, thank you very much. That's a favourite way to start the quaddie there at $1.40 and $1.10 for Ringer Houdini. Number 2, Braemar Molly, $1.50. 6, Barclay Street at $1.60 and 4, Our Mate Bear. The Quinella, $4.20. Exacta, $5.50. The Trifecta, $15. And the first 4, $61 for 7, 2, 6 and 4. And running double, 6 and 7, $20. Late scratching was number 10, Be a Character, the second reserve. The sub was number 7, Ringer Houdini, which was the winner. And in race number 6, Victoria's gone the Red Dog, 1, 3, 2 and 7 gents.
Before we move on from the launching pad action, George, of course, the top 4 from last night's heats advance to semi-finals next Thursday night. The box draws are done for those. So what are the main talking points out of that?
Yeah, look, in the first heat, 3 of the probably live chances for the whole series. She's That Girl, Wyong Dallas and Aston Rayner all drawn next to each other, and you throw in Zap Devere as well in that heat. That's a cracking way to start off the launching pad. And what about the prize money on offer, Jace? $15,000 if you win one of those semi-finals. So no wonder people avail themselves to buy a ticket here. In the second heat, Gambella again has to deal with an awkward draw. Drawn box 6 here against Dashing Slay, who you mentioned. Dungala Jesse, who set a cracking pace with Wyong Dallas, so that's an interesting heat as well. The last 2 heats, Zipping Sweeney, the greyhound with a lot of ability from Queensland, takes on Bebop Jazz, Texas President Kenya all up. Really interesting heat there. And in the last heat, Irish Bill has come up with box 2, Tribeca in the 4, and Shimmer Stan, the greyhound we spoke about, has to contend with box 8 once again. So they're cracking semi-finals. We'll discuss them on Wednesday, Jace, but we'll have some fixed odds markets up there and hopefully we can tip a winner.
Yep, indeed. And those who didn't finish in the top 4 progress the next week as well. However, it is in heats of the Consolation Series, which is called the Runway. So that's a wrap, the launching pad last night at Sandown. And to round out the card last night, George, we had 2 veterans races, and the first of them was clearly the best of them. And Trooper Tears, first up this year, first up since winning the Sale Cup on Boxing Day. Sublime from the draw. He used it to perfection, as he often has in the past.
Unbelievable. And he said to all the young bucks, yeah, you can run your 29.30s, but I'm going to go quicker. I'm going to go 29.20. He was the best of the night. He was fantastic. And again, I put my hand up. I thought Hector Fawley, it was his race to win. He had 2 runs in from having that layoff at stud. He just looked a little bit flat to me, again, Hector Fawley. And then when Trooper Tears went around the outside, there's no greyhound in the country that's going to beat him when he's leading like that out in front. I mean, he's such a strong greyhound. But, yeah, look, hopefully I'm proven wrong. Hopefully we get to see the best of Hector soon. But, yeah, we won't be tipping him going forward because he just went 5.20 odd early. He just lacked a little bit of that zip. Hopefully he's okay.
All right, looking forward to what will be a massive night again at Sandown next Thursday. Now, coming up this evening, George, at the Cattery down at Geelong Beckley Centre, heat to the Geelong Cup, and there's 6 of those. We touched on them on Wednesday, and they're pretty good. Is there anything in there that's you've identified from a tip or betting point of view?
Well, I'm interested in your thoughts in the first heat, Jason, and I just want to know whether you thought this was a bit of an anomaly as well. Giacomo's a very talented greyhound. He's $2.40 and Scalacci's $3.20. Are you surprised that Scalacci is those odds? Or did you think he would be favourite in that race after his terrific victory at Ballarat?
No, because Giacomo has one of the best speed maps in the country this week because he's got pace. He jumps better from an inside draw. He gets to a track where I expect he did a lot of his education.
Yeah.
And importantly, he's got Portica on his immediate outside who drifts straight off the track out of the boxes. So for me, Giacomo should be the favourite and is a major chance to win the race.
And we don't want to leave out Orly Bale and Warm Cockles in that race. I mean, they are seriously talented greyhounds. So that's an unbelievable way to start. The other surprise for me is Vincent Bale, who's now out to $1.95, almost touching $2.
Outs after a scratching as well.
Yeah, like it was opened like $1.70. It's $2 now. I don't get it. I think Vincent Bale with clear running is lengths better than anything in that field, and I think should be winning.
Well, he was an even money
favourite.
The
drift,
yeah, he was an even money favourite in his last start at Sandown, and you go through who was in that race: Zipping Kai, Kanya Class, Dishevelled, Come the Party. I mean, it's a much better field than what he finds himself in tonight.
Yeah. It is. I just think he'll be incredibly hard to beat. I've got some tips there, Jace. Do you want to? Should we go through some of those?
For the category?
Yes.
Yep, let's go.
Okay. I'm going to kick off in race 2, number 1. This is a greyhound from a litter that's showing a lot of ability and a lot of speed. Race 2, number 1, Paw in Flame, for trainer Mark Delbridge. Still a maiden after 4 starts, but its runs have been really impressive. 25.30 at Ballarat. Just didn't run out as well as it could last week at Warragul, but I just think, again, it just finds its races drawn well. I think it'll get to a nice enough lead and be very hard to beat. Kick off to race 4, number 2, Mapunga Rocky, who can record some very, very fast splits. I like where he's drawn here. I think he'll beat out the greyhounds drawn next to him and be tough to beat, race 4, number 2. And Vincent Bale, at $2, Jason, I've got to have a play here. Have to, in this race. I think he'll get room to move early. He's not electric early, but he'll get himself into a nice enough position. And if he shows the track sense he did last start at Sandown, it'll be lights out for his opposition.
So there's a look at Geelong Cup heats tonight. So I'll be on Sky Racing 1 throughout the evening, delivering you the late information before each of those races.
Just quickly, again, we bagged you at the start of the show, but you were fantastic last night with those analysis before the race. You only pick out 3 greyhounds and you tell the punters what they are going to do, and I think it is a really valuable piece. Obviously, it's not something you're going to do every week, but I think it's fantastic just before a race that people get an idea of how a greyhound's going to map. So congratulations to you. I'm pretty sure that would have come from you and your idea. Fantastic for punters, a really nice tool.
Yeah, appreciate it, mate. And again, that information's sort of not angled towards blokes like you who know what you're talking about. It's more so the next to jump punter, which makes up a huge majority of turnover.
Any information we can give punters, Jason, is huge. And there's so much you can read from a form guide, but having you speak about it and saying this greyhound off box 1's going to veer off, I like that sort of stuff. You speed map about where they're going to sit positionally in a race and how much of the track they're going to use, which is really important.
Yep. Appreciate that. Tomorrow night at Wentworth Park, semi-finals of the Golden Easter Egg, heats of the Association Cup. So it's a real triple threat when we speak about last night, tonight, into tomorrow night for the purists out there.
Yeah, it is. And we kick off with the Association Cup where we get to see the champ, Ethanol Water, go around looking to add another Group 1 victory. And she's a $1.50 favourite up against a couple of Victorians, reiterate. There's a local greyhound called Been a Long Time that's got ability, and so is King Tide. But you'd think if she brings her best, it'll be very good. And obviously the Ennis team will be rapt to see Lanfranco back after winning the Zoom Top, and Ella's Babe, who's off for a long time after having a seasonal, which can cause some complications for the females where they can produce milk and are nowhere near their best. So it's great to see those greyhounds back on the track in the Association Cup heats.
And what is the cherry on top of all of this that we've experienced at this point in time is the meeting at the Meadows tomorrow night, where there's 2 races of high interest. And we've had a text message come in from the loyal Tim from Kilsyth. G'day, boys. I've got a free throw at the stumps with a $50 bonus bet and haven't got time to go through the form guide. Who is your best anywhere tomorrow? Thanks in advance. Are you fair income, Tim? Tim Zoo's in the Meadows, your boy, and you're asking us for a tip.
He's not jumped off, has he?
Oh,
come on, Tim.
Through the fields.
Tim's not going to be happy with me because one of my bests is a greyhound against Tim Zoo tomorrow night. Shall we mention those, or what do you want to do?
Absolutely. Get into it right now.
Race 8, number 3, Deadly Avenger. I think this is going to be a perfect little hit out for him before the Sandgroper. I think the Borg family have handled his career very, very well so far, and I think he'll be hard to beat. I know Tim Zoo's in the race, and where's Poppy, who feels like she's been in these free-for-alls for about a year now. But I think Deadly Avenger should have enough early speed to lead and be very hard to beat. I also like race 10, number 1, She's Wired, who's looking for 4 wins on the trot for Michelle Malia. Drawn well, shows good early speed, should be winning. Just a shout out to the boys. You would have seen a photo on Twitter, Jace, of some new first-time owners.
Yes, talk us about that.
Yeah, they have a greyhound. They've got 2 greyhounds in the final called Billy Bust Up and King of Snake in the maiden final. Good luck to Jordan. We've got Isaac, Miller, Andre 3000.
So have you played a role in this?
I own it with them. I
Beautiful.
know one of the Isaac's dad, Stu. So good luck to them. They're going out to the Meadows tomorrow night. If Corey Smith is anywhere around them and their dog wins, he's going to be tackled to the ground. So look forward to Corey. Yeah, he's lost a little bit of weight, Corey, too. So he's going to be easy to tackle.
All right. The other race of interest tomorrow at the Meadows is race 9, Mapunga Reward. Great to see him back racing.
What a win last week.
And he should go
Obscure
well.
bet quickly.
Yep, let's go.
Gold Coast Suns to win into GWS at the line minus 65.5. So we've got Gold Coast to win into GWS at minus 65.5 against the Eagles. They will brain them.
All right, they're getting set at Melton. What's on for the weekend, George? Anything of interest that our loyal listeners should be aware of?
Quiet weekend.
Jeez, that's unlike you.
Quiet weekend, mate. My dad's birthday celebrations tonight. Happy birthday, Dad.
Magnificent.
How old's he?
77.
Good on him.
Yeah.
Mr. Ferrugia.
Mr. Ferrugia, yeah.
What's his first name?
And Laurie.
Laurie, keep going, Laurie.
Yeah. And condolences to Steve after his son signed up with the Collingwood Football Club.
Hey, and thoughts out there with Dane Barry as well. He's broken his ankle, so he can't call tonight at Geelong. James Vandermart's filled the shoes. So there we have it. All right, we've lost Sky Racing in here, John, but Melton are about to go.
They're coming forward, and it's Lachlan McIntosh there this afternoon. I'll go through the changes at the meeting shortly. Guys, we'll see you next Wednesday. Thank you for another great program.
Thank you.
Here's Lachlan at Melton.
One Major Crunch. In an ideal world, 101. Same for Fire Marshal. Some handy horses going around at massive odds here. First event, field of 7, all off the back of the Nutrien Gate for the Nutrien Equine Classic Race Series number 4. First heat for the 3-year-old colts in geldings. Sagano, the favourite, comes from Gate 3, and they're on their journey. From the inside, Apollo Storm began well. Going forward was the favourite, though, Sagano up to challenge, and looks like the lead's it for the taking. Going forward, too, in an ideal world, up to third, and creeping forward off the track, it's Confidential from the outside of the arm, working its way forward up to get outside of the leader and favourite. In the meantime, I'm All Business. 3 back the marker line. 4 back along the pegs is Major Crunch, and on its outside, Fire Marshal. They're the joint tail enders. 7.8 was the lead time. The first quarter of the mile will get shortly as they approach the 1200. They dropped into their formation pretty quickly after the start, and Greg Sugars controls